Being an outlaw in 19th century America is pretty rough. You've got to deal with robbers, rival gangs, the law, and all sorts of swindlers and shysters who are trying to steal your money. But most of all, it's frustrating when you can't afford to buy that super expensive Black Arabian or a brand new gold-plated finish for your trusty Lancaster repeater. In Red Dead Online, you can't buy any of the exciting stuff in the game unless you have lots of money and gold to throw around. And figuring out how to make money in this game can be quite challenging for new players because Rockstar basically throws you into the wild and says good luck. But don't worry, because in this video I will give you 25 tips that will help you go from zero to ultra rich in no time. Money can't buy skills, but it can buy the best guns, ability cards, tonics, and horses to make your Red Dead Online experience that much easier. For the first tip, we're going to start all the way at the character creation screen, as this is where you select your Red Dead Online's character gender and customize their appearance from head to toe. You get to choose from dozens of different facial features, hairstyles, skin tones, and body options, and the amount of customization that Red Dead Online gives you is truly insane, and it surpasses many modern RPGs in terms of depth. However, there's a catch. Once you finish customizing your character and lock it in, that's it. You can no longer change your appearance unless you're willing to pay Rockstar 10 gold bars for the privilege of fixing your prior mistakes, or $400 depending on whichever form of currency you have more of. And that's why you should always strive to get your appearance right on the first try. Otherwise, you'll forever be stuck with a version of yourself that looks weird. And anytime you want to change it, you'll have to fork up a lot of gold or money. Now, for longtime veterans of the game, 10 gold bars may not be that big of a deal, but if you're a beginner, it can be the difference between purchasing a role within your first 2 weeks of playing or waiting an entire month just to experience the best parts of this game, which is the various specialist roles like the bounty hunter or collector, for example. Next, we need to talk about the Land of Opportunity story missions. These can be done solo or co-op, and they feature brand new characters and a story that's completely detached from the main plot of the game. So if you're looking for more story content after completing the Vanderlyn saga, this is perfect for you. There are 10 missions that you can play with both high and low honor paths. In total, there are 14 missions, of which 4 are honor dependent, and the main reason I recommend new players try these out is so they can get massive gold and XP bonuses for their first time completions of them. When you do your second playthrough with a different honor level, there's also another bonus for that as well, and you can easily earn 10 gold bars just by doing these tutorial missions at the start of your Red Dead Online playthrough. And here's a quick bonus tip. If you haven't already, open up your Rockstar Games Social Club account and set up two-factor authentication. This is going to award you with 10 gold bars, and even though this was a promotional offer that's been introduced in March 2019, it still works to this day, and so if you don't see the additional gold bars immediately on your account, don't worry, it can take up to 2 days for Rockstar servers to basically credit that reward to your account. For tip number 3, we've got daily challenges, and these are the easiest and most stress-free way to make loads of gold on a regular basis, and the best thing about these challenges is you can make additional money from streak multipliers if you do at least one challenge a day for more than 1 week. But we'll get to that in the next tip. For now, all you need to know is that there are 7 general challenges and up to 9 playable role-specific challenges every day. The list keeps changing, but the payout stays the same. 10 gold nuggets per challenge without any multipliers, and a bonus of 30 nuggets for completing all 7 general challenges, and a further bonus of 30 nuggets if you do all 9 role challenges. So before any multipliers take effect, on your first week, you can theoretically earn 2.2 gold bars every single day for a total of 15.4 gold bars a week. But then, once you get to the second week, a 1.5 times streak multiplier kicks in and you can earn up to 3.3 gold per day. This keeps increasing all the way to 2.5 times by the time you're in the 4th and final week, at which point you earn 5.5 gold bars a day for doing all the challenges. Then, at 28 days worth of a streak, you get a treasure map and $100 as a streak reset bonus, and it all starts over again for another 4-week cycle. If all you do is log in each day and complete every single daily challenge, you can earn 107 gold bars a month just from challenges alone. But even if you don't run around the map doing daily challenges and you just play organically, switching between different types of content, you can still make dozens of gold bars every single month just by doing at least one challenge every day to keep that streak going. Awards are going to be your next best source of consistent gold income here, as these can be reset up to 10 times and reward you with 40 nuggets for each tier. If you've never checked out these before, you can monitor your progression from, well, the progress tab in your pause menu. Revolutionary, I know, but from the progress tab, simply open up the awards section and you can see a bunch of different categories. naturalist, bounty hunter, combat, hunting, survivalist, etc. And once you click on a category, you can see a bunch of different awards with a white progress bar at the bottom detailing how much more work you need to do before you can collect your nuggets. And if you've been playing the game for a while, you probably have collected a bunch of awards by now, and you just don't know it. So reset them for some quick gold in your bank. Now before you start grinding as well, know that a lot of these progression awards are pretty boring and they do require you to keep doing the same mundane activity over and over for minimal amounts of gold. However, there are a few that are very easy to farm. One of my personal favorites of those is the award that you get for blowing up animals, and it's really easy to do just with a few sticks of dynamite and a shoreline that's full of fish. There's also an award for jumping from your horse to a train, and another award for picking up herbs, all of which you'll do naturally if you're crafting. And if you like action, there's also an award in the sharpshooter category just for killing 100 enemies with headshots from a bow, and this is extremely easy to do in PvE. Just find a gang hideout, make sure you have painted black equipped, and get to work. It's a guaranteed 4 gold bars once you do all 10 tiers. Call to arms is also an excellent way to farm this award because you'll be swarmed by hordes of enemies in a very short time. For my next tip, I won't give you a money making method. Instead, I'll teach you how you can save money by looting NPC corpses, instead of buying all of your ammo and consumables from the store, because saving money is also a way of making money. You're essentially removing an unnecessary cost from your budget, and you'll eventually have a ton of extra cash and gold that you can then spend on important things. At first, it may not seem like much, 20 cents here, some gun oil there, but these things do start to add up once you kill hundreds or even thousands of enemies, which isn't improbable given the sheer amount of gunfights that you get into. Plus, the cash payout may not be all that good, but think of all the ammo and tonics that you find on dead NPCs. This is the kind of stuff that you'd normally spend your own cash on, and so occasionally you'll even find high value items like treasure maps or collectibles on a dead body. So even if you aren't in it for the cash or the ammo, it's always worth to check every single NPC for loot because you never know what you might find on their body. And while we're on the topic of saving money, I should also mention that it's almost never worth it to buy something when you already have the materials and recipe at hand to craft it instead. Whether we're talking about specialty ammo like explosive shotgun rounds or some tonic, take a look at your inventory and see if you can craft that item. Over the course of playing through the game, you'll gather plenty of resources such as animal fat, feathers, moonshine, big game meat, herbs, etc. So set up camp and see what you can craft before you head to the nearest general store to stock up on supplies. Now, for most good stuff like special snake oil, special horse medicine, special miracle tonics, incendiary buckshot, and explosive slugs, you will need to first unlock the necessary pamphlet from the fence, and this is tied to your character's level as well, so there's really no way to sidestep this whole leveling process. Some of these pamphlets, like the one for the dynamite arrow for example, can cost a lot, but they're definitely worth it late game if you have the cash to spare, which you should if you don't spend all your cash early on useless items. Like guns, for example. I'm not saying guns are useless. In fact, they're probably the most important thing in the Wild West right next to your horse, but you also don't need to be riding around with a whole gun shop glued to your saddlebag. Think of what you need, not what you want. Because when it comes to firearms in this game, it's very easy to waste thousands of dollars on guns that do the same thing. And once you enter the style section of the gunsmith menu, there is no coming back because engravings, custom triggers, frames, and medals will eat up whatever gold is left in your Red Dead Online bank account. In my opinion, a beginner doesn't really need more than 3 guns. A good repeater, a good shotgun, as well as a rifle, and those will all carry you through everything that this game has to offer, both in PvE and PvP. I suggest watching my video on the best weapons in Red Dead Online so you can make up your choices for yourself, but if you ask me to only pick 3 guns and which ones that you should use in the game, I'd personally go with the Lancaster repeater, the bolt action rifle, as well as the pump action shotgun. Maybe even sub out the bolt action for the varmint rifle, for example, but either one of those will suit you just fine. Now that we've talked about guns, let's decide on a horse. For starters, it simply isn't financially viable to own more than 1 horse at any given time. You could fill up a whole stable with Turkmens, Thoroughbreds, Andalusians, and Missouri Foxtrotters, but then you'll end up broke, and unless horse riding is your only interest, you'll also be very bored because you don't have any money left for things like guns, specialist roles, or pamphlets. You definitely want some extra horses late game, but as a beginner as well, you don't need a bunch. Stick with the Kentucky Saddler that you get at the start, and if you really want something a little bit better, you can get a Mustang, but that's about as expensive as I'd go as a low-level player because some of the best horses in the game, like the Gypsy Cob and the Bretons, for example, are actually locked behind rolls. So instead of wasting money early on, save it and grab yourself a level 20 roll horse that will carry you through the rest of the game. The first specialist role that you should unlock is the Bounty Hunter role, not just because it has the most engaging gameplay, of course, but also because it's the only role that actually pays you with gold, in addition to cash. Now, this is important because outside of daily challenges and resetting progression awards, you don't have many reliable or consistent ways to earn gold in this game, and gold is the only basically currency that you can use to buy roles, which form a huge portion of the day-to-day content that you'll engage with. If you choose a different role early on, you'll not be able to make as much gold as you should be making, and your next role will be delayed significantly. This can cause you to get bored or give up on the game, even if you really like your first role, because playing the same content over and over will get boring after a while. So start with Bounty Hunter and use it to buy your next role. That way you're not just farming stranger missions and blood money content. The next role that you should get should definitely be the Collector, because this list is all about getting rich, and nothing beats Collector for when you want to make lots of money really fast. So this is the way it works. You buy the role for 15 gold bars and you meet up with Madame Nazar. She offers to buy collectible items like tarot cards, antique alcohol bottles, and bird eggs from you, and then you simply go around the map with your collector's bag collecting these items so you can sell them back to her. But here's a few details that people miss out on when they're new. Selling individual items to Madame Nazar is a huge waste of potential, since you get a massive bonus by selling the entire set. Plus, you don't even get the XP by selling individual items, so why bother early game? Another thing you may not know is that you can actually start progressing the collector role even before you purchase the bag, because you're naturally going to run into collectibles while doing other content like daily challenges or bounties. So by the time that you have your bag, you might notice that some sets already have 30 or 40% progression complete. Now, one thing you should never do is buy the collectible maps from Madame Nazar, as these are a huge waste of money. Just visit the interactive Gene Ropke collector map online and you'll get a full view of all the collectibles in the game, along with the daily reset timer, which, by the way, don't bother with any of the randomized items like coins or fossils. Instead, collect sets of antique alcohol bottles, tarot cards, bird eggs, wildflowers, family heirlooms, things like that. All the non-diggable items. Those are guaranteed spawning items on the map, and they're going to be much more of an efficient use of your time, and it's also just a more reliable way to earn money with the collector role. Of course, grab any jewelry, coins, fossils, or diggable items that you come across. The map just won't give you a consistent spawn because Rockstar nerfed those. Okay, now you've followed all the tips leading up to this point, so you should have a decent chunk of cash in your bank, especially after unlocking the Bounty Hunter and Collector roles. But don't waste any of it yet on clothing items or cosmetic upgrades for your horse, because there is still plenty of important stuff to buy. Instead of buying cosmetic items, you could spend your excess cash on meaningful upgrades like the Nakadochi's saddle or hooded stirrups combo, which will significantly boost the performance of your horse. Or you could buy the Special Horse Reviver pamphlet, or even upgrades for your moonshine shack so you can produce higher quality moonshine. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is don't spend money on cosmetics unless you already own all the essential items for yourself first. And for the next tip, I'm going to reveal something to you that a lot of Red Dead Online players still don't understand to this day. There is a time-based payout system in this game. What it does is give you more gold and cash upon completing a mission based on how much time you spent since the mission started. However, there is a slight nuance to it. It doesn't scale linearly. So if you go from taking 15 minutes for a bounty mission to using up the full 30-minute timer, you won't get twice the gold nuggets or cash. Instead, it only goes up by 50%. So in that same 30-minute window, instead of sitting out and waiting for the timer for the max 48 gold nugget payout, you could do one bounty, get your 32 gold nuggets in at 12 minutes, do a second bounty, get another 32 gold nuggets for a total of 64 gold nuggets, and that's an increase of 33% in gold made, and you only spent 24 minutes versus the full 30 for 48 gold nuggets. So when someone tells you to wait to the last few seconds before completing a mission, completely ignore their advice. As a general rule, you want the max payout for the least amount of time, the optimal payout if you will, and 12 minutes is that sweet spot. Anything beyond that is going to be wasteful of your time, and you're also leaving money on the table, money that you could be getting by doing other missions during that time. Events are another great way to earn money in this game, and these are basically PvP competitive game modes that pop up in the free roam, and there is no buy-in cost like with specialist roles, so you can easily earn some extra rewards on top of your daily challenges or role-specific content. Plus, they are a nice shift of pace from the usual PvE stuff. There are also role-specific events like Manhunt and Salvage, and these are definitely worth playing if Rockstar has placed a cash or XP bonus on them, which occasionally they do. Discounts and bonuses are also a good thing to look out for in general, because they can help you save money on desirable items as well as help you make lots of extra cash on certain game modes or content types. For example, this March we had 3 times rewards on all Moonshiner story missions, as well as double money and roll XP on Moonshiner sale missions. So if you have the Moonshiner role unlocked, you could have made a ton of money through these bonuses. There are also some really nice discounts on the Norfolk Roadster horse, repeater rifles, and Moonshine Shack expansions for that month. The featured series is also part of monthly bonuses, and the playlists for these keep revolving each month, but every time you get a 3 times gold, cash, and XP bonus on game modes selected for that month's featured series, events are typically split across 4 weeks, and if you like hardcore modes, these are definitely worth checking out for some extra cash and gold on top of your PvE income. Naturalist is an extremely underrated role in this game because most people don't use it in conjunction with their trader role to get easy legendary animal pelts. Basically, to do this, you get a legendary animal mission from Harriet, but then you kill it and skin it instead of sampling it and leaving it there. Harriet will be mad at you, and that's fine because she'll reset after a few minutes and you get to fill up your trader supplies much faster than hunting normal animals in the free roam. For tip number 24, I'm going to bring up treasure maps, as these are often overlooked by players even though they're an excellent way of making gold. If you open up your satchel, you probably have a bunch of these laying around, just from exploring the world and fighting NPCs, and while the cash they provide is decent early on, the main value of treasure maps lies in the guaranteed gold payout. You get on average of about a gold bar for a few minutes of work, so there's no reason not to do these maps while you're waiting for your trader or moonshiner productions to fill up, for example. Last but not least, we have glitches. No, this isn't going to be one of those videos. There are already plenty of clickbait glitch videos out there for Red Dead Online, and I have zero interest in expanding on that collection. However, I will say that relying on glitches to get absurd amounts of cash or gold simply isn't worth the risk, because even if your account doesn't get wiped today, it might in the future. There's always a risk of that, and even if that doesn't happen, and even if the so-called glitch works to begin with, you're just going to make the game boring for yourself. Also, Rockstar may not have any interest in uploading new types of content, but you can rely on them to immediately clamp down on anything that hurts their bottom line, so don't even bother with it. Don't use them as a crutch. As I've demonstrated, there are several legit ways to make lots of golden cash in a reasonable amount of time, and it's a lot more engaging than relying on Rockstar's buggy code to do the work for you. Games are meant to be enjoyed, and even if you aren't making as much money as you think you could by glitching, just relax and take things at your own pace, because there's plenty of fun stuff to do in Red Dead Online that doesn't revolve around you being a rich guy. And to be quite honest, especially with this game, if you're only focused on glitching it out to get all the items, it's honestly just not worth playing at all. The fun in this game is the journey, so take advantage of that. But anyways, that's all I've got for this video here today. What's your favorite way to grind money in Red Dead Online? I'd love to hear from you, and I'd also love to know in the comments if you're still having fun with this game in 2025. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more Red Dead Online content like this. Check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at HazardousHDTV. All of my social media links can be found in the description down below. I live stream Red Dead Online and GTA Online consistently over on my Twitch account, and I would love to have you guys join up and be a part of that community over on there. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios, amigos.